Think it's on. Okay. Libby?
Brian?
Here.
Tonya?
Here.
Here.
We do have a small quorum. I don't believe there's any changes to the agenda this evening, so we need to have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we need a motion for the minutes for October 20th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting, October 20th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have no old business. So on the new business, we have Carole Stevens and DeAnn Harmon, the president of Hancock County Business and Professional Women's Club, to join me in proclaiming the November 25th, 2025 as Indiana Working Women's Recognition Month. Good evening.
And we're here tonight to request proclamation of Indiana business women. And the whole month of November. Each November, we honor women who have made contributions to our community, leading with skill, compassion, balancing work and family, and inspiring future generations. Working women strengthen our local economy and help Hancock County grow and thrive. This month, our club also invited nominations for Outstanding Working Woman of 2025, recognizing qualities such as passion, dedication, generosity, and leadership. One exceptional woman from our community has been selected for this honor, and we look forward to announcing that soon. So we thank you very much for allowing us time to have this proclamation signed, and we look forward to announcing the recipient later this month.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, do you want me to read the proclamation like we always do? Yeah, okay. We can do that. So Indiana Working Women's Month proclamation, the month of November 2025 has been designated as Indiana Working Women's Recognition Month to honor all working women whose accomplishments give fitting recognition to their services to this community. And whereas no event could be more deserving of the support and participation of the community than one dedicated to these women who represent all phases of employment. And whereas the inspiration and encouragement we give to develop qualities and character essential for more young women to enter the working force as a career are very important to the future of our city, state, and nation. Therefore, we, the Town Council of Fortville, Indiana, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2025 as Indiana Working Women's Recognition Month. And we urge all citizens to be aware of this highly deserved observance. And oh, you want a picture of me signing? I was going to put somebody else's name there for a minute. My maiden name. Sometimes I do that. I don't know why. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We're anxious to hear who that person is, or at least I am. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for coming. Yes. That's great. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, next up, we have council to consider the first reading of Ordinance 2025 Missy, what are we? 11A. Okay. That's okay. 11A, which assigns zoning designations to the newly annexed Stokes property located at US 36 and 300 West. Public hearing is scheduled for the Planning Commission meeting on November 25th at 6:30. Adam?
All right. Good evening. For the record, I'm Adam Zaklakowski, the Planning and Building Director for the town. So as you know, this 120 acres or so was recently annexed voluntarily into town limits. And it's all at the moment, residential 1.0 in Hancock County. And the property owner, Sam Stokes, the reason he wanted to annex is he's in the process of putting the property up for sale, putting it up on the market. And the advantage to annexing in this particular case is that the future owner of the property who wants to develop it could take advantage of water and sewer utilities that are nearby. And so when we spoke with Mr. Stokes, we said, would you be amenable to having it zoned in a way that's consistent with the comprehensive plan, the new updated land use map that was put together? And he said, yes, he would be amenable to that. So usually with annexations, if you know in the past, when we're not changing the use of the land and we're just bringing it in, then we will assign the most like zoning district from the county to the town automatically. In this particular case, because the comprehensive plan at the end of the day is really a recommendation, it doesn't carry the same weight as an ordinance of zoning, then if you're changing the zoning on this land to something different than what's there right now, even if it fits the comprehensive plan, you really should go through a formal rezone process where the plan commission can weigh in, the public can weigh in, they can do their analysis and then submit their findings to you for your final approval. So for this case, you can see that the way the property would be broken up is into 4 different zoning districts. Much of the parcel on the west side of 300 North would be light industrial. And then we've reserved a 13-acre parcel right near the hard corner, that southwest corner of 300 West and Broadway, for some sort of commercial use. Could be a grocery store, anything that could really use that 13 acres of land. That seems to be their sweet spot for a larger grocery store. And that was confirmed with the broker who's representing the Stokes. And then if you recall, on the east side of 300 West, we're showing some multifamily. The council wanted that added in to the comp plan at that point. So we've got that at about 14 to 15 acres. And then the balance of the property on the east side would be residential 3.5, which is kind of the default suburban zoning district. So the purpose of what you're looking at tonight is just for first reading. Again, it would go to the Plan Commission, but we certainly want to hear whatever comments or concerns you have on the proposal. And then lastly, the town is working with VS Engineering, who is putting together basically a boundary survey of these 4 areas in order to provide legal descriptions and a map so that if and when these parcels are parceled off and broken up, that the zoning district boundaries will more or less match up with the parcels of land as they're created in the future. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them, and we look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you.
So they have a broker working for them already. Has there been
Yeah.
any discussion about the other development, the residential part? Anybody?
There's been some interest from large national home builders in the parcel. And of course, because of where it's located geographically, so close to the built area, and of course on the west side of town, there's definitely some interest there. So it remains to be seen if they're able to put a deal together or not. And then of course, what I could envision happening is that say, the east side of the project, between the multifamily and the residential 3.5, I could see that being subsequently rezoned to PUD. But obviously, it's too early to say with certainty because we don't know who might propose that. But I would say that's a reasonable likelihood in the future.
I'm good. Questions?
Good.
Looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 2025-11A, assigning zoning designations to newly annexed Stokes property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Look forward to that.
yeah. Next up, we have the rough draft of the parks plan to be submitted to the DNR. Heath,
Council.
doesn't sound like it.
Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, there we are. Something turned on.
There you go.
This again. Heath Luther, Parks Manager for the record. You guys were sent, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday this past week, the rough draft, all 138 pages of it. What I'm asking tonight is not an approval of the plan itself. This is your approval to send this to the DNR for edits. In the meantime, just to kind of give everybody a quick timeline, this is going to go off to the DNR. According to the consulting company, they've had quite a few plans come in. He does not think that they're going to be able to get to it before the holidays. So we're probably looking around mid-January before the DNR gets back with us with the edits on it. In the meantime, that should give everybody on the council some time to take a look at it and see if there's anything in particular that that stands out. I've gone through it. Everything's pretty good. There's a couple of things that we've tightened up. I'm not sure exactly which version you got, but we tightened up some verbiage, and there's a couple of things with the actual like timeline of certain projects we want to get done is probably going to shift a little bit. But it gives us time and you guys time to look at it and see if there's anything that really needs to be kept in check. In the meantime as well, I'll get with Andy and see if we can't get at least the rough draft posted on the website. That allows the public then to be able to read it and kind of give their 2 cents if that's something they'd like to do. So once that rough draft comes back, we'll see what those edits are, along with any edits that maybe the council has or the public would like to see. And at that point in time, we'll finalize that last draft. Once we finalize that last draft, I'll have Alex and you guys as a council come up with a resolution to adopt the final master plan. And once we adopt that, then we will send that back into the DNR with the paperwork showing that you guys as council adopted the new parks plan and everything, that they had suggested we make those changes. And we'll go from there. So the deadline for that is April 15th. So I would imagine sometime either the last meeting in March or the first meeting in April, we'll look at having that resolution done and everything finalized and ready to go. So again, tonight is really just for you guys. If you had any quick input, hear that, and then getting your approval to be able to send that to the DNR for edits.
Awesome.
It's a lot of information, a lot of good information. Yeah, it's a long read.
Yep.
I got through it though. Yeah, I think it looks good. It's good to see it all together like that. So.
Yep.
So on there, they had mentioned like a splash pad or pool or something in the next couple of years. I mean, where are we on that?
We're not. I mean, we'll
We are not.
So just to be clear on a lot of those capital improvement projects on any parks plan, not just this one, not that they're all wish list items, but it's getting this parks plan approved is the first step then in taking taking it to the next level, finding the funding, just kind of what we've done with the Landmark Park project. Obviously, we had already started on that before we really got into this parks plan, which is why the Landmark Park project is on there, but that's quickly going to come off of that because we're already working on it. So we will, as those edits come back, one of the conversations we have or will need to have is kind of what those priorities within those capital improvement projects will look like. And again, the parks plan is just a guide for us. It's if it says, splash pad by 2030, that doesn't mean we have to have a splash pad by 2030. It doesn't mean that we couldn't have a splash pad by 2027. It's just a guide of some things that the community put in that we would like to maybe try and make happen. So, while no, we are not close to that just yet. There are some other projects within the parks plan that we've already started budgeting for. So one of those things on there is new restrooms in Landmark Park. As you well know, with going over the budgets, Beth has already been planning on that with us and saving some money out of the parks budget over the last couple of years to try and make that happen sooner than later. So if there is a real want and push, and it seems like there is, for some kind of water feature, we will have to have a serious discussion on maintenance, upkeep, those types of things, and how that plays into the parks budget, and if that's something that's feasible for us right now to do. So it's a good question, though.
I definitely have some ideas on that, so I don't know if like this meeting would be to get into that or just save it.
That is something I think we can probably have that conversation over the next, let's just call it 6 to 8 weeks. Tonight, obviously, we're not going to make those changes. I think it's going to require conversation as far as that's concerned. So, no, tonight would not be necessarily the night that we'd want to get into that. But it is noted, and we can have some of those conversations here sooner than later.
Okay.
And again, I just want to make it clear that, again, this is a rough draft and nothing that's in that parks plan is set in stone, right? So even if let's say the splash pad doesn't make it, but then we get, a major sponsor or donor that wants to come in and do that, just because it's not in our parks plan doesn't mean that we can't do it either. So just kind of a guide, kind of like the comp plan, right? Like we try and do what's best, but sometimes you got to make changes off that comp plan. It's going to be a fluid document. We'll revisit this in 5 years, make any necessary changes and updates to that parks plan and go through the process again of having a rough draft with the newer plan. The problem that, as many of you know, we hadn't had a plan for 24 years at this point in time, 2001. And so we pretty much started from scratch. And so hopefully now this is going to be a fluid living document moving forward every 5 years. So any other questions for me?
Nice to have something to work off of.
Yes.
So we're just looking for a motion for him to submit the DNR to DNR.
I'll make a motion to approve the submittal of the rough draft of the parks plan to DNR.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
Thank you. And I'm leaving. I will not have any reports unless anybody's got any other questions for me outside of the parks plan stuff. Any
I hope
questions?
you had a good vacation
It was
and get some rest.
phenomenal.
Good. That's great. Good to hear.
Thank you.
Okay.
Back at it.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we have department reports. Joe?
I don't have much this evening, but I will let you know that last week I did a walkthrough with NDOT and the contractor on the Broadway project. They listed out several little things that needed to be corrected. I think they've given the contractor till November 7th to complete those projects. That's a pre-final, so it's not the final. So that's to get some of those things knocked out. And we still have a handrail and a sign for the historical building, the Merrill House down on Maple Street, that's got to go in. We're waiting for those to be delivered. So those could be delayed maybe 2 or 3 weeks beyond that, but we're getting a lot closer.
The sign is not there yet.
What's that?
The sign is not there yet.
No, we don't have the sign yet.
Are they putting it in? Are we?
Oh, it's required.
Okay.
It's a commitment that the town.
Well, I didn't know if we were going to get stuck with putting it in or,
Yeah. Everything's moving really quick, so they're going to be able to knock it out. And
good.
There for a while, they was talking about closing the contract and
Yeah,
delivering it to us and letting the town install it. So that's not going to be the case, thank goodness.
good.
One thing that came up at the last meeting was the crosswalks along Broadway. And they did address that, as far as they're going to add some additional signage and arrows, to try to help draw attention to it a little bit more. But after talking with the folks at NDOT and with Alex, he kind of helped guided me through some of this. I never realized that it's not a state law that cars have to stop if you're in a crosswalk in Indiana. It is in other states, but that's not an Indiana law. There was 7 of us in yellow vests standing out there, pushed the button with the lights flashing. Not one car even slowed down. They just kept going. But with the yellow lights that are out there, that is just to notify the drivers that there is a pedestrian in the area and they're trying to cross, but they're not required to stop. It's the big red flashing beacon, it goes up over the road. Those are the ones like out at the school that requires you to come to a stop if somebody's either push the button that's red or they're in a crosswalk there. So,
Well, that is more dangerous than I thought it would be then.
yeah,
since-
I was a little disappointed to hear that. I guess I always thought that it was a state law in Indiana as well,
Well,
but
and that's what everybody kept saying too.
I believed it. That's all I've got this evening. Unless you got anything else for me?
Okay. Next up, we have Adam.
Nothing for me unless you have any questions or anything.
He's done. Chief.
Yeah, I got my quarterly report for you guys to review. There's copies for the public in the back, but just the front page, not the actual statistics page of everything and all the calls for service and all that. A couple things to note is Officer Simpson's back from medical. He got cleared to come back on the 9th of November. So that's good. We'll get him back before the holidays. We were not expecting that. And then we are hoping to have a full slate of officers soon. I have a couple chiefs interviews I got to complete. We have one position to fill for 2025, and then in 2026 we'll have another. So hopefully we can get those filled to full staff. We're averaging 1,474 calls a month, which equals 49 calls a day on a 30-day cycle. So getting busy, and it only gets busier this time of year from the thefts and the frauds and the scams and all that due to the holidays. So I anticipate those numbers going up. That doesn't include the calls that Laura or I take on station when somebody just comes up to the police department and calls. We wrote between ordinances, warnings, infractions, misdemeanor, and felony tickets, we wrote 662 last quarter, and then we took 30 accident reports. On the map, it shows most of them are right along Broadway, which, I mean, there's a few here and there, a couple down by the school, but only 2 injury accidents. So one was at 4 West and 67. And then one was right about Speedway, or no, that's off 13 and 67. So I know my ink was running out in my printer, so I apologize if those are light colored for the injuries, but 0 fatalities. So I'm going to dig deeper on why there were so many accidents this past quarter, because the ones before we were averaging 15 to 20 maybe. This one's up to 30. So I'm going to break that down here in the next couple of weeks before the next meeting. So if we have questions, we can get that answered and try to help figure out why we had so many accidents. Other than that, I don't really have anything for you guys unless you have questions of me, or if the public has questions at any time, they're more than welcome to ask. And of anything in the police department.
Chief, can we bring up or kind of a follow-up on the scooters that we talked about at
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
previous
ask you.
meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have, I know I talked to Chief Gephardt from Fishers when we were out at IACP in Denver. We're actually on the same flight. So we had a good long talk about scooters and e-scooters and e-bikes and everything. So they're putting together an ordinance on their end of things, but they're also blasting out a lot of public social media content to parents, and so I'm going to look at the ordinance and see what we can kind of do to tweak it our way. But I think right now we're going to start really a push for education on how to drive them, what the laws are on them, all that type stuff. So I got with Art, who does a lot of our public information and all our social media stuff. And he's very creative. He's good at that. So he's going to try to put together some information on how to get to some of the younger generation to watch that and maybe get something to the parents to say. I know talking to Chief Gephardt's a little bit, and he said a lot of it is if they catch the same person doing the same thing multiple times, they will basically impound the scooter at the police department and have a parent come up and come pick it up and have a very serious conversation with that. So I asked how it was, and he said some parents like it and some parents hate it. So he was going to follow back up with me this week sometime. We're going to talk about it, kind of dig more into it, but it continues to be a problem. Hopefully with some colder weather, it will limit the amount of people out on the sidewalk.
And I think before spring gets here, we should push something pretty significant.
You gotta start with education. I mean, you know what you don't know. You
Yeah.
know it. Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to try to push it out and blast it out, as much as we can, especially around the holidays too, because I'm sure parents are going to be buying e-bikes and scooters and
Oh, we'll probably have twice as many we have
Yeah.
right now.
so, I think just some education, maybe before the holidays too, before the buying starts.
Yeah,
Of, hey, this might cause problems in the long run.
yeah.
Well, it's interesting since we brought it up here in the meeting a few weeks ago. It seems like every community's talking about it. I know on the serve list, a lot of towns across the state are asking questions about how other towns are handling it and everything. So it's beginning to be an issue, I think, in all communities.
Yeah. Yeah, he said definitely Hamilton County. I talked to Chief Hartman in Greenfield. He said they have issues with it. Kids going to and from the parks and all that type stuff. New Pal, not so much. So, but it's a smaller community and farther spread out also.
So what's the main difference between these e-bikes and like mopeds? Is it just because they're not plated and
They
lights
don't
and
have the
stuff?
motor. They have an electric motor, but they don't have a combustion motor.
Right.
And that's
Most
part
of
of
them mopeds are like that though, right? Just run off the battery.
most mopeds or scooters that have to be plated are combustion engines.
Okay.
Some of the electric ones now, they look like dirt bikes.
Yeah. And they
So-
sound like dirt bikes, but they're all electric. So there's 3 different types of classes that the state kind of verifies what they are. And there's a huge breakdown to it. So I'm going to kind of dig in and we're going to try to get out as much information as we can to parents. So we don't have the accidents and the injuries and things like that.
It's near impossible to identify the difference between what type, because I've been looking as hard as I can look,
Oh, yeah.
even while I'm driving or if I'm standing still, to see if I can see some kind of identifying. It doesn't, you just can't see it. If it's on there, I can't see it.
I mean, even a dirt bike.
Those dirt bikes especially is the one I've been
They're all
watching.
electric and
Yeah.
they look like a dirt bike. They even make the sounds like a dirt
They
bike.
do. And I can't believe that because electric usually doesn't make any noise.
Yeah.
So they must add something to it.
I'm guessing it's a
That's where you
speaker.
put the playing card and the paper clip on the back of your bike
Yeah,
wheel
right.
when you were a kid.
Right. Well, it's probably good that you can hear them and not hear them, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna start blasting out some education, see what we can do to
Good.
maybe get some resolve that way.
Sounds good. Missy, you have anything for us? Alex?
You hit the crosswalk thing. I'll add to that, there is a law though, if someone stops for you to walk across the crosswalk, it is illegal for another car to go around. The statute on that. There's no law that requires that first car to actually stop for you. Law, yeah, different in other states and other cities, but that's what we got here.
Yes, I got hit by a car on a crosswalk in downtown Indianapolis on the circle. Long, long time ago. Okay, any public comment?
Yeah.
You're the only public here, so
Bob Starrett, Motel Drive. I just have 3 questions, I guess. I don't know if you have the answers, but I didn't know if there was any update, if it's dead or not. The Carve Market thing that was they talked about. Is anything happening with?
yeah, it's working.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah,
good.
things are moving along.
Okay.
I think they're continuing on since our last conversation. Have you heard
Yeah,
anything else,
the,
Adam, lately?
Sure. So the redevelopment commission at their last meeting approved some additional funding for a longer period of time for public parking on the property. And so that had the added benefit of making the project pencil out even better for Carve for additional years.
Okay.
So now we're just waiting for the real estate agent to update that letter of intent to reflect what was discussed at the redevelopment commission meeting. And then presumably after that, I don't know what the delay is on that. We have to contact her to find out what the latest is. But once that's done, then they should be free to submit their interior renovation plans for the parking lot, and the demolition of a smaller building behind that building. So, yeah, the good news is should be, knock on wood, full speed ahead.
Yeah.
That's good news.
That is good
We
news.
need that, I
Yeah.
think. Is the Madison project still, I see the pending sign up. That's still going forward as well? Because I know there was some 19 acres that needed to be decided on from the guy that talks to us all the time, but I didn't know that's still going on. How about the early wine project? Is anything happening with, I know
I was going to ask Joe the same thing. I don't know anything about that, where we're at with that.
Joe, what, tell us
We've got
about
a-
early.
We've got an RFP out on it. When is the date for that one?
It is, I believe it was November 12th. It's coming up here. And we've got it on the next RDC agenda for this month, for November, for them to review those RFPs and hopefully make a decision on who they want to go with.
Okay.
Do we have any so far?
No.
No.
none of-
Typically, they don't turn them in until the last minute.
Yeah.
And this, my last question might be for you. So it's not a state law as far as stopping. Can a town make its own ordinance to do that?
Basically a jail. You can only cross state spots, but I think in order to, we don't want to talk about this, it's complicated because that's a state.
Right.
In order to make people stop it. it's flashing. And that's just unfortunately not a crosswalk. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Short answer, no.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think it would work anyway. We got people from other towns coming through here. You know,
Right.
the majority of the people here, I think, are going to look, the townspeople, but the people that are coming through are not, you know, they're just,
Right. I know over, I can't remember what street it is that the wooden barrel or wooden bear's on over in Greenfield. They just closed that intersection, but there's a sign in the middle of the road. I don't remember what it says, but it says something about the crosswalk.
Mhm.
And I didn't know if that, I know it's,
Yeah, that has a full red and yellow light. You hit the pedestrian cross button, the lights will flash to yellow above and then go to red.
okay. I didn't even, I've never even seen the lights. I've never seen.
Yeah, if you're going east-west on 40, is that what you're talking about? Right
No.
there by Grigsby's and the Wooden Bear?
No.
It's talking about on State Road 9.
On 9.
Back
Right
up
before you get to
a
40.
block north.
Oh, okay, yeah, they have pedestrian crossing signs there, but
Yeah.
it's not a lighted.
Right. Yeah, I've
Uh,
crossed there by Grigsby's and,
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
one, yeah, it's got the full across,
yeah.
and that's a state road, and that would be my recommendation if we were to move forward to try to make that into a must stop. Would they do the same thing they did right in front of Grigsby's and in between the Wooden Bear?
And I heard you guys talk a week or two, a meeting or two ago. Those signs are they pretty expensive? Is that why we don't have the red flashing light instead of the?
The Hawk says, well, that's NDOT wouldn't
Yeah,
pay,
that was
they wouldn't
NDOT's
foot the bill for
design.
that. That's, I guess, that's not the kind of crossing that they intended.
And I did talk to him about those crosswalk signs in the middle of the road at the crosswalks. And they quickly shut that down because with the wide loads and people using the middle lane to drive through, especially with, the street lights on one side, if there's a wide load, they go down the middle. Sometime those,
Thursday pools would take
They-
them out every day.
I wouldn't go throw any names out there, but.
Well, I mean, it's the truth. Why I follow,
Yeah, they would.
no fault of theirs,
Yeah.
but I follow them out every morning. Every single morning.
Bypass 67 to bypass from 69 and 70. So when the troopers are escorting a large wide load,
Right.
they'll take the state roads up and around.
There was a big load come through today or several.
Yeah, I've seen it parked out there.
All
I
right.
mean, it would probably seem wise to maybe contact your local state legislator to put a bug in their ear to see if they're interested in looking at the law and changing the law.
Sure.
Be
It just-
consistent with many other states.
It seemed, the problem is it seems sensible and logical. So,
Well, that's the problem. That is the problem.
But so it's always worth asking, I think.
It doesn't exist anymore, It-
Contact your state representative.
I was going to ask you too, Joe, in your walkthrough, did they mention anything about signal change in timing changes for the signals? Did you guys discuss that?
I don't know that we talked about it much that day, but I did talk to them earlier on. It was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. And they said they were going to have them look at the timing on it.
Yeah.
So I know that the speed limit sign as you come in from the west, they did bring that up as far as you have to be right up on it before it'll start activating and telling you how fast you're going. So they're going to try to reset that to where it'll pick you up a little further out. That'd be nice. They seem. Yeah, they do seem to help, those flashing speed limit signs. I think they do slow
It
people.
does me, it makes me
It
guilty. I
makes
feel
me slow
guilty.
down.
I look, and I feel guilty if I'm not, I'm used to driving
Yeah.
a certain speed up to that point. So,
I do have one more thing, if you don't mind, since I've already gone through this, but, and I've been working with Alex on this. Years ago, when town was a combined sewer system, the Tritapo drainage ditch went from Stoudemire Ditch along Merrill all the way up to through that new development that's going in right now. And that was one old clay tile that took all the sanitary storm and everything all together. The town and the county went in together. We put in a brand new sanitary sewer. They put in a brand new storm sewer, 10 feet apart, the full distance. They have got a 75-foot drainage easement for that because it is a regulated drain. We discovered with putting in that subdivision up there that they needed to reduce that easement, and come to find out the county wasn't even aware that that was a regulated drain, and they even owned it at this point. So in some discussions we had with them, they, in their minutes, they did agree to turn that over to the town. And I asked them if they could reduce the easement, and I think we could even do that ourselves. But they did agree to reduce it down to a 30-foot easement on both sides of the pipe rather than 75 feet. That gives us more than enough room to get in and work on the water, or the sewer and the storm, both that goes through there. But before they would give it to us, they wanted a letter from us accepting it. And I thought before I signed a letter accepting that.
they're going to give us something they didn't know they had to give us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're ready to give it
Okay,
up. So.
that's great.
Well, and the thing is, it was all
That's
new and
great.
it's all PVC, so it's going to last many years, and there's not going to be any issues with it. But I thought that's one thing that we're trying to get buttoned up for that Northwest Fortville development so they can finish their last leg is to get that easement squared away. I know they're anxious to get moving on that, but I thought it'd probably be best to have the council weigh in on that before I was to send them a letter accepting that. And that would be my recommendation to go.
Yeah,
ahead
I
and-
agree. I think we should take it. Since we thought we had it anyway.
What do you think, Alice? Do we need consensus or a motion?
Yeah.
I only
think
saw
you're
one
good.
head bob.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so no more public comment? You got anything, Ryan?
No.
You got
Good.
anything? Okay. All right, so I need a motion to sign and approve vouchers.
I'll make a motion to sign and approve vouchers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:11.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, excuse me. I was gonna ask, I wanted to ask you, what about, is